Come with me to Kauai's Hindu monastery, Kauai Aadheenam.
This was a last-minute decision to go, but I kept having this inner pull. It was pouring the entire week, so when I landed, it was such a surprise that it was sunny and clear. Kauai Aadheenam is a 382-acre property with Hindu monks living in the monastery, 2 temples, and it houses also the only Rudraksha forest in the United States. The Wailua River runs down the side of the property via Nanikawa Pond. This is a center for Saiva Siddhanta, which is a form of Shaivism that's popular in South India and Sri Lanka. The ultimate goal in this school of Hinduism is to experience union with Lord Shiva, the deity of destruction and regeneration. This cycle of death and rebirth is helpful in removing illusions and imperfections from the world. I was walked to the Kadavul temple, one of the 2 temples on the property. This is Nandi, the bull, who is Lord Shiva's devotee and vehicle. Nandi is carved from a single block of black granite and weighs 16 tons. Nandi is typically facing the main altar, which he is doing here. You're not allowed to take photos and videos in the temple. However, there is a virtual tour online that shows most of the inside of the temple. It's beautiful. There are 3 altars. To the left, there is Lord Ganesha, the Hindu god of new beginnings, and known to be the destroyer of obstacles. To the right is Lord Karttikeya, god of yoga and spiritual striving. In the center is Lord Shiva as the Divine Dancer Nataraja. On both walls, there are 108 bronze sculptures of Nataraja, each depicting one pose of the cycle in the cosmic dance of creation, preservation, reabsorption, obscuring grace, and revealing grace. There are some yoga poses that I recognize, like standing leg behind the head, backbends like dhanurasana, bow pose, and seated poses. They're really interesting to look at. There are 54 sculptures on each side of the temple. The monks perform continual worship every 3 hours for the past 40 years. Kadavul is a fire temple whose intense energy helps break up old patterns and help seekers begin new ones. In my first visit, I didn't go into the temple, but just walking around the grounds, I intuitively felt like energetic blockages were being kicked up and removed. Blockages that I didn't realize were there because they must have been there for a while. It feels appropriate because, as I mentioned, Lord Shiva works to remove ignorance, things you don't know. Appropriately, Lord Ganesha is also the remover of obstacles. On this trip, I attended the Shiva Puja and felt that energy in the same places but more intensely. It's interesting because there were specific moments when I felt that upsurge of energy, but I don't know what was being chanted at the time or the context within the ritual. So I'm curious to look at that puja further. There is fire that is used in the ritual. Fire has purification properties within Hinduism, so you'll see the monk chant and use fire around main Lord Shiva's altar, setting it down for practitioners to take in the sacred flame, or using fire to burn prayers to appear and be addressed in the astral realm by the gods and devas. I'm not sure if all of these are done in every puja since I've only attended one, but this is what I've gleaned from an article that the monastery puts out in their publication, Hinduism Today. It just so happened that the monastery was holding a tour of the front garden that's free, so I joined that. The tour doesn't take place every day, so I felt extremely lucky to come on a day that this was being held. And it was also being held on a day that was sunny, amongst days of rain. To think that this was a spur-of-the-moment trip that I almost didn't go on. This whole trip felt serendipitous and supportive in unexpected ways. I felt really peaceful for the rest of the day, even when I landed back home to delayed airplane arrival, an hour in traffic, and a lot of rain. None of it bothered me, and I was able to peacefully navigate my way through the rest of the day. I attribute it to my visit and attendance at the temple. I came with the intention to experience inner peace and merge with the inner divine, and left with a feeling that I received more blessings than I anticipated. 10 out of 10 recommend visiting Kauai Aadheenam or Kauai's Hindu monastery. It's free from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You don't need a reservation to visit the front of the property, but you will need a reservation for the Shiva Puja and Darshan. I'll link the temple's website below.